Evening, everybody. We'll call the Belvedere City Council regular meeting of April 4th, 2022 to order. If the clerk will call the roll, please.
Brereton.
Here.
Fleury.
Here.
Frank. Here. Freeman. Freeman is absent. McGee.
Here.
Mulhall. Here. Porter.
Here.
Prather.
Here.
Snow.
Here.
Stevens.
Here.
9 present.
Okay, if you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, we pray to thank you for our country, our community, and our freedom. We ask that you be with the men and women that currently serve in our military and the many veterans who have served fighting for the freedoms that we enjoy. We thank you for them. And we thank you for our police and first responders and fire first responders in our community and throughout this country. We ask that you give us the wisdom, courage, patience, and compassion this evening as we conduct our city business. We ask for these things in Christ's name, amen. All right, under public comment, I do have a public comment to make regarding, you might see the placards that are over here on the easel and then one propped up on the desk. And what we have there is about 8 or 9 months, at least since I've been here anyhow, of conversation, discussion, and negotiations regarding a new General Mills development. Skinnell Property is going to be the developer for General Mills. And just a quick synopsis. General Mills is obviously a proud business owner in Belvedere. They have a plant employing more than 500 people here. And they're optimizing their Midwest distribution network with this new state-of-the-art warehouse to house raw materials and packaging to serve as a finished goods distribution center. Skinnell Properties has been chosen to develop this new modern facility for General Mills and opening up this area in the city for new development, new taxes, and new jobs. The proposed General Mills building will be approximately 45 feet tall, will consist of 1.3 million square feet, with the possibility of future building expansion or additions of 213,800 square feet each, for a potential total of a 1.7 million square foot building addition here. All traffic will come from Irene Road, and the South Industrial Lot and the Commercial Lot will remain undeveloped until a specific user is ready to build. Skinnell Properties is under contract to purchase approximately 172-acre site of land. This building will be on 111 acres of that site. It will be on the northwest corner of Irene Road and US Route 20, west of Town Hall Industrial Park, and south of the railroad tracks. And they are asking to annex their land into the city of Belvedere for General Mills and future industrial and commercial users. After annexation, Skinnell is applying to divide the land as follows: 2 large industrial lots on the east side of Irene Road and 1 smaller commercial lot on the west, a new right-of-way for Irene Road, a new truck turnaround for Morheim Drive, and rezoning to the appropriate zoning category within the city. So I had been in communications with the council for quite some time. Actually, I think the county board had discussed this on their agenda last week, and I will be bringing each alderwoman in, and we will talk about all the intangibles that go with this. It's obviously being proposed, and it's being proposed for your consideration. So as we go forward, we'll have meetings this week, and we'll come in and we'll assess, answer any questions, and hopefully can come to a consensus. I want to thank General Mills, obviously, for making a commitment to this community and bringing 50 to 75 jobs potentially. And it's nice that they have a long history with Belvedere, and hopefully we'll be able to maintain that. I'm optimistic. So thank you very much. And also under public comment, we have tonight 3 individuals that are registered to speak. I will go with the order, not by the alphabet, but by the names of the individuals that I was given. So Mr. John Wolf, you here? Hi, John. Welcome. Right up here, please.
Good evening. I'm John Wolf, past businessman in Belvedere, now retired, immediate past president of Growth Dimensions. It's been brought to my attention that there's a thought process, and of course, tax time is budget time for all of our municipalities. I know budgets are something that we all work on. Having been a part of Growth Dimensions the better part of the last 20 years, I know how hard the organization has worked. I know the both successes and the times that we've thought that there were more opportunities for Belvedere and Boone County that we've missed. Speaking to that, to me personally, defunding, cutting allocations to economic development for our community could not come at a worse time. I look at the communities around us. They're spending more money each and every year. Winnebago County, the city of Rochelle, Huntley, South Beloit, they're all spending more money on economic development. One of the tenets of Growth Dimensions under both my presidency, Dick Van Evers before me, the current administration, has been to keep at least unreserved 1 year of operating budget. We have that, we need to maintain that. Today, more importantly than ever, you have successes in Belvedere. You would not have an expansion of a community college, Rock Valley College, if not for the efforts of Growth Dimensions. You wouldn't have Stellantis thinking about staying in Belvedere without legislation that was originated and started with Growth Dimensions to retain manufacturers, specifically automotive, in Belvedere. I was very disappointed that this past week there wasn't a larger representative from this board, from this city. The mayor was there, there were a couple of aldermen there, but as far as I'm concerned, every county board member, every city council member should have been at the ATC's ribbon cutting. Those are opportunities that Belvedere doesn't see all the time. We need to take advantage of those opportunities, and to me, we need to fund Growth Dimensions, not reduce it. You need to increase the amount of spending for economic development in Belvedere. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. And next we have Michael St. John. Michael? Hi, Michael. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Mike St. John. I'm a vice president with Associated Bank, and we are a supporter of Growth Dimensions. I'm also vice president on the board of Growth Dimensions. Previously, I was the treasurer of Growth Dimensions. And I just want to support John Wolf's comments about economic development. The reason that Associated Bank supports Growth Dimensions, we don't have brick and mortar in Boone County or Belvedere, but we do have customers here. And most of our operation is in Winnebago County, and even to that, economic development that happens here in Boone County affects businesses in our whole region, and so that's why we maintain our support. I would agree with John that now is the time to maintain, even increase support for economic development. We've been able to work hard to get additional support and new support from our private sector. And so we're looking to maintain and have that same support here from the city of Belvidere. So thank you for allowing me to express my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. St. John. And last on the list that I have, unless somebody I don't know about, Bob Opperman. Bob? Good evening, Bob. You too?
So thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. I'm Bob Opperman. I'm a Boone County resident. Currently, my day job is to be the market president for Midland States Bank. I'm in charge of both Boone and Winnebago counties. And my other avocation is that I'm also president of Growth Dimensions. So I want to talk to you a little bit about why Midland States Bank is committed to economic development in this community and why we support the Growth Dimensions work. Really, it's two things. First of all is results. We want to see results from the money that we invest. We owe that to our shareholders, we owe that to our stockholders, that we show a return for the investments that we make. In Belvidere, we're seeing return. You see a beautiful picture back there? That's return on investment. We saw John mention the Rev Illinois bill that was passed by large part by support from Growth Dimensions. That's results. We see the ATC opening up in town. That's results. And there's a number of things that are following that we aren't ready to talk about yet, but there's results. We're seeing results. The second thing we look for in a community is teamwork. We want to know that the elected leadership in the community supports economic development where we do business. That's certainly been true here in Boone County and Belvidere. We thank you for that. We're really to support that. But when you think about cutting back on support for economic development, you have to think about what you're saying to the businesses that are here already and for the businesses that are thinking about locating here. Are we a community who's willing to make long-term commitments to serve our community, to make things better for our children and for our grandchildren? Are we willing to make those long-term commitments? And up until now, the answer to that has been yes. So I would just implore you tonight to stay on the team. Let's keep working for a better community for our children and for our grandchildren. Continue to invest in economic development. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Opperman. All right, item 4 on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the Belvidere City Council of March 21st, 2022 as presented. Do I have a motion to accept those? Motion by Alderman Fleury, second by Alderwoman Mulhall. Any corrections, any discussion regarding those minutes? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed, thank you. Under public hearing, item 5, we have none. Under special messages and proclamations, do we have Charlotte Meyer, the Executive Director of CASA, with us this evening? Charlotte, would you please come up? Thank you. Nice to see you. So I have a proclamation I would like to read. And the proclamation is dedicated to CASA, really, and our children here in Boone County. And if you'll bear with me, I'll read this. So I have a proclamation, whereas Boone County is committed to protecting our most vulnerable and ensuring our children grow up safe, healthy, educated, and prepared to reach their full potential. And whereas all children deserve to have safe, stable, nurturing homes and communities in which they thrive. Whereas children who face adverse childhood experiences, including child abuse and neglect, are at a higher risk of short and long-term physical, psychological, and behavioral challenges. Whereas children raised in safe, stable, and nurturing environments are more likely to enjoy good physical and mental health, succeed academically and socially, and thrive in life. And whereas all Boone County residents, community agencies, faith groups, and businesses are encouraged to renew their commitment to preventing child abuse, supporting families and promoting the safety and well-being of children. And whereas in the year 2021, Boone County CASA advocated for 110 children involved in the Boone County Juvenile Abuse and Neglect Court. Whereas Child Abuse Prevention Month is a unique and important opportunity to urge all Boone County residents to engage in activities that strengthen families and communities. And whereas throughout the month of April, Boone County CASA will be displaying blue ribbons and pinwheels around the community as a way of showing support for children who have experienced abuse and neglect, as well as to encourage community members to help end child abuse. Now therefore, I, Clinton Morris, Mayor of Belvedere, do hereby officially recognize and proclaim April 2022 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Belvedere, and furthermore, do encourage all citizens to rally support for children who have experienced abuse, neglect, participating with supporting organizations like Boone County CASA, who work to keep all children safe in our community. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and affix the seal of the city of Belvedere this 4th day of April, 2022. So I would like to give this to you, Ms. Meyer. And I know there's other individuals here that I don't know that are in CASA, so if you would like to introduce them for me, and if you would say a few words, I would appreciate it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for recognizing Child Abuse Prevention Month and specifically Boone County CASA. We have a couple of board members and staff and an advocate. So Cheryl Prather is our board president. And then we have Jennifer Horner and Ryan Curry and Daniel. I don't know how to say the last name. Ruffalo, thank you. I was like, I'm going to screw it up no matter how I say it. And our advocate coordinator, who is Alicia Arthur. And then we have our CASA advocate, Terry Miller, and his wife here present, all decked out in blue, of course, because CASA blue. So thanks again for recognizing Child Abuse Prevention Month. We are very grateful for the support that the community has provided us over the last over 30 years. Unfortunately, child abuse is still an issue. And when I say child abuse, it doesn't necessarily mean physical abuse. It can be being in an environment that is not good for them, whether that's because of parents' mental health issues or domestic violence or substance abuse issues, places that it's just not safe for those kids to be. And so we're here because we understand the importance of advocating for those kids and doing our best to make sure those kids are safe. We encourage all of you to become involved in however you see fit, right, to help those kids, whether it's joining CASA, hint, hint, or finding a different organization that better fits you, because we do think it's very important, and it's the only way that we're going to help these kids to be strong, healthy, happy adults, and be better community members. So that's our goal. We hope it's your goal too. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you again. I
Thank
appreciate it. So on behalf of not only myself, but the city of Belvedere, all of the residents, all of you that are out there, I want to thank you. I know it's not an easy job. It's a tough job, but it's a necessary job. So thank you very much. Okay, under item 6B, we have Pam Lopez Fettis with Growth Dimensions. So, good evening, Pam.
Good evening, and I apologize, but prior to starting, I'm going to introduce Christina Governor. She's with General Mills, and give her a few minutes to speak on behalf of Growth Dimensions.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
coming.
As Pam said, my name's Christina Govern. I'm actually the plant manager of the General Mills facility down the street, right down here on Pleasant Street. And I wanted to speak in support of the work that Growth Dimensions does for our company and for the community. The General Mills Belvedere plant has been on that site for almost 120 years, next year will be 120 years. And historically supporting Green Giant brands, but now we're one of the largest producers of snack bars and proudly fruit snacks, as well as the company's largest facility for convenience packaged cereal, which is very popular anywhere you go. And the Growth Dimensions organization has been critical to helping our company to navigate through growth throughout the years and make smart investments and figure out local pathways to get there. We have had many investments over the years. In the last 4 that I've been at that plant, over $120 million of capital and employee development investment, and that does not include the investment that's sitting across the room from you, which we are very proud of and excited for. The Growth Dimensions organization helps to make all this possible by helping to match incentives to our company goals, finding the right sites to match our needs for growth, and also helping the teams to navigate state and local processes. This includes applications, timelines, paperwork, all in an efficient and timely manner. And as a global company with operations in almost every state in the union, we have many places to choose to invest. And we continue to choose places like Belvedere because organizations like Growth Dimensions exist. These organizations actually exist successfully in other states as well. So in talking to a lot of my colleagues that help to navigate investments like the one across the room from us, organizations like Growth Dimensions increase the opportunity to grow here in Boone County, in Illinois, because of the connections it makes to help drive our company's success, which leads to community success. So again, we work in many states on many investments, and a group like Growth Dimensions is absolutely critical to our timelines, process navigation, and without it, decisions that benefit our community we would not be influenced to invest here. So reduced funding from our government partners would put the mission of Growth Dimensions at risk and make it harder for Boone County to compete for businesses, which are vital to the fabric of our economy and our local community. So thank you for letting me speak on behalf of Growth Dimensions. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
Pam?
Thank you. Well, just to kind of give you a little bit background, I think a lot of people have different ideas of what economic development is. So purpose of economic development is to really build economic capacity in our local area and also to improve our economic future and quality of life for everybody. So we do this by working collectively to better understand our conditions for economic growth and employment for generations to come. We focus on enhancing our competitiveness, increasing sustainability and growth, and ensuring that growth is inclusive. So as you see, these are our 4 priorities. We market Boone County, we develop infrastructure, we connect businesses to resources, and we sustain economic development. Next slide. We do this by marketing the area's effectiveness to potential investors, advocating cooperative efforts to address common concerns. We strengthen infrastructure for future growth. We attract investments from emerging industries that help diversify our economy base. We try to reduce the tax burden on citizens and businesses by expanding the tax base. We maintain our competitive climate for primary employers, and we improve our regional recognition and support for strategic initiatives. So about our organization, we are a nonprofit 501c6 organization. We are a public-private partnership. And with Growth Dimensions, the city of Belvedere at the same level of investment, that would make up 42% of our investments and 28% of our budget. We are not a membership organization. For instance, we're not like the Chamber, which is a membership organization. We're not a taxing body, so we cannot rely on taxes for regular income from year to year. We're not a 501c3, so a lot of times we don't qualify for a number of grants, especially those that were available through COVID. We are marketing and outreach. We've accomplished quite a bit this past year. We have highlighted our advantage, a logistical advantage, our workforce, our sites, and infrastructure through videos. We have established and revised a certified sites program, and this is intended to increase the number of certified sites, again, for attraction, for potential projects. We've been involved with an infrastructure study, and this was to highlight our return on investment and obtain support through various grants to cover costs for water, sewer, and roads. We are involved in residential activity and sites and buildings that are available And if you are aware, we've had two press conferences this past year with the Rockford Area Board of Realtors and the Belvedere chapter to increase future economic opportunities, cost of living, and growth. We want to highlight those things in order to get people to come to Belvedere and Boone County. We've invested in e-communications, electronic communications, and this highlights successes, services, and programs available, prospects, and businesses to the community. We have outreach to 223 potential investors on a monthly basis and almost 2,000 monthly connections in the community. We've also engaged with digital marketing and geofencing to, again, attract site selectors and brokers to our area and to our website for attraction. We show what we've done with equity and inclusion, impacting social equity toward racial, socioeconomic, and food inequities, and show what our community can do to respond to problems. Our marketing and outreach has engaged or reached out to about 1,600 cities in the United States. We've also reached out to 139 countries. We also are involved with business retention and growth, and that includes establishing a talented and skilled workforce. We need to develop our education and pipeline for our future workers. And just to kind of give you an idea, through Forward Boone, which we established in 2020, which was a partnership between community-based organizations, businesses, education, regional planning, municipalities, health providers, and the health department, all working together to address some of the challenges and gaps in services and supporting efforts in economic recovery through COVID. We marketed resources in which we've identified, or we produced 18 videos and more than 3,000 views. We kind of lost count after we hit 1,000 volunteer hours for clinics, vaccination clinics. We've supported and promoted programs for financial support of businesses, like the PPP loans. There was 807 awards. About almost $50 million were distributed for PPP, and about 2.8 for Back to Business grants. We also supported the marketing and application and review of documentation for the Back to Business programs in Poplar Grove and Belvedere, which brought $420,000 to businesses that suffered a great loss. Through this, Growth Dimensions received no dollars to administer, facilitate, or market these services. We also provided additional resources. Every year we get $15,000 to $20,000 through a grant program in partnership with the City of Belvedere for the National League of Cities and the Kauffman Foundation. Through that, we were able to start a fast track program, which was an education program for businesses that are looking to start up or sustain themselves and grow. So since then, we've paid for this program and our facilitators through business sponsorships and Growth Dimensions budget. We've had 41 participants to date, and 24 have completed. We also had started a Compass program, which was a Compass list of resources. It was really an asset mapping process for resources available for businesses. We wanted to make sure that they had the resources when and where and if they needed it and how they needed it. So we developed this comprehensive resource map for them, and that's still continuing to be developed. And then our outreach activities to help identify business challenges and so on. So our workforce and education in partnership with the Workforce Connection, school districts, the state with the 60 by 25 community has really helped develop that pipeline, that workforce pipeline. We're not looking, businesses aren't looking for just the workforce today, but they're looking for the workforce tomorrow. And we have to have a clear plan on what we're going to do and what we're going to be able to produce in the future. Dr. Dan Weisman wasn't able to join us today, but he said, as the superintendent of Belvedere School District, I have seen the direct benefit to our students by having a strong public-private partnership effort in the community through Growth Dimensions. Just to get, a lot of our work is also engaging in projects. And we've had 63 projects that we work on since in 2021. 50 were attraction efforts to our area, and others were business startups or growth. Today, we have 68 active projects currently. There were 240 businesses visits that we had in 2021. Many of them were interested in financial, workforce, trying to help them make that connection, support through COVID for safety and economic recovery. Majority of these projects are located in Belvidere, or they will be annexed into Belvidere. And this is largely, as Alderman Snow indicated, was because of the water sewer potential in Belvidere. Many of these projects also take a lot of detail. They ask for workforce information, wages, training, quality of life, suppliers, supply chain, access to roads, water, rail, building requirements. I can go on and on and on. It takes a lot of coordination and flexibility. We have to be very responsive to projects. We are given literally 1 day to 3 weeks to respond to a project. We have to meet on their time. That means meeting on the weekends, nights, evenings, holidays, when you're sick, when you're on vacation, whenever. So we have to exercise a lot of flexibility. One such project was Rock Valley College Technology Center, which everyone had shared earlier today has been one of a great success. But a lot of people don't know that it actually started out with 4 locations in Belvidere, Boone County. We reached out to potential applicants. We shared the information about what Rock Valley College was looking for, and we provided information on the logistical advantages to be included in their application. One location made the final list, and we put together a partnership letter with the city, the county, and the businesses in the area, and we also provided a sample letter to the Rock Valley, for other businesses to share with the Rock Valley College Board of Trustees. This letter included supporting their decision, helping them make a success and make their project a success, and knowing that they'll make the best choice on behalf of the students. We also, and this was one of the reasons why they chose Belvidere, is because of partnership. We focused on the partnership that we can provide them with businesses. Well, as you know, they chose Belvidere, and we continue to work with them. It doesn't stop when they come here to Boone County. We continue to work with them. We've connected the community college president with businesses to develop those partnerships, and we continuously engage with businesses and share with them the assets that are available here. So every project that we apply for or is interested in their future workforce and education. Dr. Spearman once said that Growth Dimensions is one of the bright spots. He appreciates our agility to make this happen. Another example is the reimagining electric vehicles in Illinois. We reached out to Stellantis after we've seen a lot of investment in other states and other countries. And we were very frank, why not Belvidere, Illinois? We got a very frank answer. Through that, we started meetings that we engaged the state with. And then when we weren't gaining the traction that we wanted to do, we started a campaign. In April of 2021, we wrote a letter, Keeping Industries in Illinois, a Need for Competitive Advantage. We sent this letter to the governor, to all our elected officials, to organizations that supported growth, Illinois Manufacturing Association, the chambers, everyone. We asked for their support. So really, it was truly a campaign and call to action. With the support from our local and state elected officials, a bill was proposed. And we had a bill signing at Rock Valley College Technology Center. And at that bill signing, Governor Pritzker said, I hear this started with you. Belvidere, Boone County, Growth Dimensions made it on the map. They heard us. They heard our voice. So I think that this is just the beginning. This was a game changer, this program. This actually started with a lot of the automotive industry is now eligible to apply for incentives. There's a couple tiers that are available depending on their investment. And now there's a new act called the Micro Act, which is proposed in order to get microchips here. Again, these are game changers. Otherwise, we wouldn't be on the map. We wouldn't be considered for any other projects. So Project Kelly is another one which we've all heard today, but a lot of people don't know this actually started in January of 2021. They reached out to us because we had an established relationship with the employer. They were looking at multiple states, and they wanted us to provide them with potential sites available. So we responded before their deadline. We provided preliminary information on 5 sites, and we provided them more than what they wanted. We provided them highlights on Belvedere and Boone County, quality of life, infrastructure, our labor force, our migration patterns, who's coming to our area for work or to reside. We provided information on talent and the education pipeline. We also provide them with comparisons in Illinois, Ohio, and Indiana, because we knew that's where their other facilities were located. So now, as you heard the mayor share what those potentials are, we continue to work with Project Kelly, go ahead, next one. So we introduced it to Team Belvedere. We were at one-on-one, so now we were competing with one other state. Developed a comprehensive package, coordinate that with a lot of the city, the county, a lot of the departments, the state, addressing challenges in workforce and changes in the scope. Increase their investment. So to date, I can't tell you how many meetings and discussions that we had on infrastructure, on grants, on incentives, and we've tried to provide that service as a liaison with negotiations and points for clarification. So you'll hear more about that, I believe, next week, right? So I'm not going to go into challenges, but as you can see that we do a lot, but we have a lot more to do. We have to focus on building our infrastructure. We have to market our assets and our incentives. And we have to be a champion for economic growth and development. So just to kind of go over, benefits in economic development include maintaining and increasing a diverse tax base, increasing revenues faster than the cost of municipal services. We have to focus on business retention and growth, economic vitality, and diversification. We need to create jobs, retain jobs, and we have to increase our per capita income. We have to have our people in our community become self-sufficient and economically not reliant on services for living. We need to recognize our local products and promote them. And we need to develop that partnership between businesses and community members. So more important than ever, during times of economic retraction and downturns, a community strategizes for business growth and resiliency. A key path to growing your revenues is investing in economic development to ensure that your community and community's businesses are successful. So an investment in economic development means successful businesses and a healthy community. So before I end, I wanted to share with you one more comment from Eric Ditchman, owner of EJR Tech. EJR Tech would not be doing business in Belvedere without the help of Growth Dimensions. They were able to get us in contact with the right resources to make our project happen. EJR has grown significantly over the past few years and attracts many customers from the Chicago area and also out of state. Our customers are contributing to the Belvedere economy. Thank you. Should we open for questions or anything?
You certainly can. Does anybody have any questions for Pam? Alderman Berner?
Thanks, Mayor. I didn't know if this was part of the plan already, but can we make sure that the city budget is on the agenda for next week for discussion?
Certainly will.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Alderwoman Frank?
Pam, how many are those are for the city and how many are for the county of these big projects that you're doing? How can we tell by when you go through
I can give you a
them?
breakdown. I don't have it with me today, but I would have to say that off the top of my head, I would say 95% are for the city of Belvedere.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
coming. Mhm. All right, moving along here, item 7, under approval of expenditures, we have none this evening. Item 8, committee reports and minutes of city officers. Under A, minutes of Committee of the Whole, Public Safety, Finance, and Personnel of March 28, 2022, as presented. Could we have a motion to that effect, please? Motion by Alderman Snow, second by Alderwoman Prather. Any corrections, any comments regarding those minutes? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed, thank you. And item 9, under unfinished business, A, we have ordinance number 568H for a second reading this evening, an ordinance granting a special use to allow indoor commercial entertainment with the public plan business district located at 996 Belvedere Road. Could we have a motion to that effect, please? Motion by Alderman Snow, second by Alderwoman Mohau. Any discussion regarding that motion? Alderwoman Frank?
Maybe I need to ask Gina. So this is a second reading, but do you know why we're not going ahead with the Pearl Street one?
The DMV property? Yes. The applicant is here, so if I'm incorrect, Ryan, jump in. The DMV property was tied into it being a banquet facility. The person that was going to manage that facility relocated, and then COVID hit, and there's been multiple, delays. And then when Anytime Fitness moved out, and this space became vacant, it was much more, not cost effective, but easier to develop this site. He had the idea of the golf simulators. Obviously, Belvedere or Boone County has several golf courses, but it's Northern Illinois. You can only be outside so many months out of the year. The high school golf teams, So he saw that need in the community for the golf simulators that flowed into the arcade games and video gaming. And this was a much more feasible development than the DMV Center.
So is it still going to go ahead with the Pearl Street at some point?
He let that special use lapse. So if another development idea comes to that property relating to video gaming, a banquet facility, anything like that, it would have to go through the special use process all over again.
Thank you, Gina.
Okay. Alderman Stevens?
Is this gonna have video gambling or not?
There will be a bar in there, so there is possibility of video gaming. The applicant is well aware that the city has capped it at 40. 37 licenses have already been issued. Several more have already been approved for the special use and are waiting for the state. So they know it's a possibility, but not a guarantee.
Okay. Any other questions? Alderman Snow?
Was there anybody that showed up in opposition at the meetings?
Not necessarily opposition. The pastor from Emmanuel Lutheran, who also lives in the townhouses right there, was concerned about it being targeted towards kids as a full-blown arcade, kind of like Tilted in the mall or a Chuck E. Cheese. He was nervous about kids crossing the street to play after school. The intent of this, especially since alcohol would be served, is that there will be arcade games, but it is more for the parents that are there doing the golf-focused stuff, having something for the kids to do. The overwhelming part of the business would be for adults. That being said, the special use does allow for, a full-blown arcade. And the concern for the children, it would be no different than a candy store could open there, and that's outright permitted retail. The yogurt shop is there, so kid-oriented businesses are already outright permitted. So although staff understands that concern, we can't stop other kid-oriented businesses from opening up in there. But I don't see, especially since there will be alcohol served, that this will be a targeted towards children kind of facility.
Continue, Alderman Snow.
So at that point, if it did get the video gaming, which would require the liquor license, then it would be, minors would have to be accompanied as opposed to unaccompanied at this point.
Correct. They would have to be there with an adult.
Alderwoman Frank?
Thank you, Mayor. How many are we up to right now for liquor license? Are we up to the cap right now?
No, I think we're
There's
37
not a cap on liquor
37.
licenses, there's a cap on video gaming.
on video gaming. I think video gaming, and if this were to be video gaming establishment, then I think we're at 37.
There are 37 issued. There is locations that already have the special use approved. For instance, the gas station on Appleton and Newburgh, Casey's gas station below Road, the strip mall on State and 20, that was a topic of discussion, of lengthy discussion here. Those three have already had their special uses approved, which is why the applicant is aware that by the time he goes through the process and has the state look at it, all 40 available licenses could be issued at that point, because yeah, there's 37 actively being used at the moment.
Any other questions? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion and a second then on the floor to approve an ordinance granting a special use to allow indoor commercial entertainment within the planned business district located at 996 Belvedere Road. All those in favor will, when their name is called, answer aye. Any opposed, nay. When the clerk calls the roll, please.
Brereton,
Aye.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
Mulhall,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Prather,
Aye.
Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
9 in favor.
Okay, motion passed, thank you. Item B, ordinance number 569H, a second reading, ordinance approving a replat of title plat number 5 of Oak Brook Woods. And do we have a motion to approve that? Motion by Alderwoman Mohal, do we have a second by Alderman McGee? Any discussion regarding that motion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor will signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. When the clerk calls the roll, please.
Frank, McGee,
Aye.
Mulhall,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Prather,
Aye.
Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Brereton,
Aye.
Flurry,
Aye.
9 in favor.
Okay, motion passed, thank you. We have item C, ordinance 570H for a second reading as well. An ordinance granting special uses to allow indoor sales or service, off-site parking lot, and vehicle repair and maintenance within the planned industrial district located at 6853 Indy Drive. Get a motion to that effect, please? Motion by Alderman Snow, second by Alderwoman Mohal. Discussion, Alderman Snow.
Any objections from anybody or
There-
comments?
There is no objections or comments. I will say the applicant, although he's not here tonight, he's just across the railroad tracks from Project Kelly. He was ecstatic to hear about it, especially with the realignment of Irene Road feeding into his truck traffic. He was very excited about that. But no, I have not heard any comments or complaints.
Alderman Porter?
I'm just curious what this means by off-site parking. How far away is that off-site parking and how big is it?
So if you look on the east side of the property behind the building, there's a large trailer parking area. So that would be parking for trucks that his company owns. And then because it's off-site parking, he would be able to rent out that. So the numerous truck drivers in town that are parking on streets in front of their houses and stuff because they have nowhere to put their trailers, they would be able to rent space from him to park. And that would be the off-site because they're not parking where their company is, they would be parking off-site at his location.
Okay, so the off-site is right next to the building, basically.
Correct.
Any other questions? Okay. Hearing none, we have a motion and a second then to approve an ordinance granting special uses to allow indoor sales or service, off-site parking lot, and vehicle repair and maintenance within the planned industrial district located at 6853 Indy Drive. All those in favor will, when their name is called, signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay.
McGee,
Aye.
Mulhall,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Prather,
Aye.
Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Brereton,
Aye.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
9 in favor.
Motion passed, thank you. And then item D, for a second reading, ordinance number 571H, an ordinance providing for the temporary relief from the full requirements of section 98-12A3 of the City of Belvedere Municipal Code for the fiscal year 2023, from May 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2023. We have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Prather, second by Alderman McGee. Any discussion regarding this? Alderman Porter?
Yeah, I'd like to maybe open up for discussion that we actually open this back up for discussion to possibly change it to 6 months. Maybe I might make a motion to amend it to 6 months instead of a year, since we are starting to come back from COVID quite a bit now, and things are kind of going back to normal. So I'd just like to maybe have some discussion on that.
Okay.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second then to amend the agreement, which essentially then would end what, October 30th, 2023? Okay.
Yeah.
Alderman Snow?
At this point, I would vote no and just keep it a year and keep it simple.
Okay. Everybody will have a chance to vote, maybe? Mhm.
It can only be on the alcohol part.
Right. You know, I want to check something real quick too. Only a good example, or this one's not effective for 6 months, but I want to see, where is it, in sidewalks, what's the section right now? Supplementing, maybe 12.
Bear with us, we're working with a one-armed attorney.
Your concern is with the alcohol, not the actual sidewalk cafes for 6 months only. The concern is with the alcohol, not with the actual sidewalk cafe, only for 6 months.
No, I'm aware of that, but I think I'm in favor of the 50% food sales, which goes along with it. That's the requirement, that they have 50% food sales, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's the current code. This would amend that some for the period of time. What I'm looking for. So. That is subsection 3 though, A3. Okay. What I was looking up just to give you a heads up was subsection 2 contained, and this has to do with a different type of use, but only allowed these sales April 1 through November 1st for all those types of sales. But in section A3, which is specifically the sidewalk cafes, so sidewalk cafes, which this, the ordinance amends, only allows for their operation between April 1st and November 1st anyway. On November 1st, they have to close down their sidewalk cafe and operate indoors anyway. So that's what I was looking to see. Your intent's actually already met. The purpose for the 12-month provision, though, is the permit is good for 12 months, which means they could then reopen again on April 1st, at least until the April 30th, for the last month of that year. So right now, the Sidewalk Cafe, including the service of alcohol, can only occur between April 1 and November 1st of any given year.
So, what's your pleasure?
Well, yeah, it sounds like it's taken care of then, so I guess I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay. Okay, motion withdrawn. Alderwoman Frank?
I have a lot of establishments that are in my ward, and I just want to know if there's going to be any protection for the people that live around there for the noise, because I've had calls already about that.
Yeah. I think that, I don't want to speak for the city attorney or the chief, but I will speak for myself. I think if we have noise issues, we certainly have a way that we can address those. I know I've tried to address them, but I'll ask the city attorney to weigh in and.
Essentially exactly what the mayor was going to say. We have noise ordinances that we can enforce. And again, from a practical standpoint, the only enterprises that were really operating that kind of a cafe establishment recently are located at the intersection of Whitney and Buchanan. One of them's got their own outside beer garden already on their own property, so they are what they are. But the usual noise ordinances do apply, and of course, as it gets later in the evening, the more strictly they're enforced. Not by us, by the judges. So.
Okay. Alderman Snow?
On that issue of enforcing that kind of stuff, I don't know what the logistics are, but the mayor is the liquor commission, so he has, I'm assuming if an establishment is being, quote, unruly or pushing the envelope, he has the ability to suspend or manipulate their license for a period of time, I'm guessing, but that would be an attorney question, just throwing that out there.
He does if there's a violation of law. So you first have to find if they violated some law, and then yes, you could do that.
Okay. Chief Woody, did you have anything you wanted to add, or?
The only thing I would add is, my understanding is it's 2 or 3 restaurants that participate in the Sidewalk Cafe. It does go till 9 o'clock at night. I don't know whether or not these restaurants actually pipe music out onto the street, or if we would be, strictly dealing with conversational type of noise. But all those factors would be taken into consideration when we got the complaint-driven response by law enforcement, and then unless specifically the situation dictated otherwise, we'd always be looking for compliance, at least initially, unless we're looking at an ongoing problem, and then we could take more drastic measures.
I just don't want the repeat offenders constantly doing the same thing over and over.
No, completely agree, and this is something that we've addressed numerous times before, and we do the best we can within the ordinance that's written. Ultimately, try and gain that compliance by whatever means necessary.
Okay. Thank you. Alderman Snow?
In that regards, Chief, do those complaints actually make it to the administration's office, or do they just wind up in your world and potentially the mayor's not necessarily privy to ongoing issues?
It depends. Some do make it, to the mayor, whether it be by the complainant specifically, or the situation surrounding the complaint that I felt would be necessary to bring it to his attention. On any given noise complaints, it would be handled, by law enforcement, and unless some other circumstance dictated otherwise, it would stay at that level.
And I might add, I guess I've been involved in them from both ways. I've received calls regarding and followed up with Chief Woody, and then also have received information from the chief and regarding complaints. So, we want to make sure that people do fall into compliance, and it's not unreasonable. I don't think we ask for much, and that's how we look at it, how I look at it anyhow. Okay, any other questions? Alderman Burden?
Thanks again, Mayor. So like I mentioned previously, and I'll keep it short, we spent a lot of time on this and a lot of hours, and a lot of people were here. We heard a lot of testimony, And I understand that it's just to extend it for a year or have what have you. But I feel, you know, after a year, then it'll probably get extended again or maybe permanently instilled. I don't know. I just feel like we're just totally disregarding the wishes of all the people that came and gave that testimony. And it's not really, you know, my opinion. It was the people that came and testified and what they wanted, and we came to the agreement, and those were my thoughts on it. So I think voting aye on it is just disregarding their opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alderman Burden. Any other comments? Any questions? Any concerns? All right, hearing none, we have a motion and a second on the floor then for providing, an ordinance providing for temporary relief from the full requirements of section 98-12A3 of the City of Belvedere Municipal Code for the fiscal year 2023 from May 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2023. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay, when the clerk calls a roll.
Mahal,
Aye.
Porter,
Hey,
Prather,
Aye.
Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Brereton,
No.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
Motion passed.
7 in favor.
Okay, thank you. And under item 10, new business, item A, ordinance 572H is for first reading. An ordinance budgeting for all corporate purposes for the city of Belvedere, Boone County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2022 and ending April 30th, 2023. Then we have motions forwarded from the Committee of the Whole, Public Safety, Finance, and Personnel of March 28th, 2022. Motions of Finance and Personnel, Chairman Burden.
Thanks again, Mayor. A, motion to adopt the disposition of phone policy as presented March 28th, 2022.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion regarding that motion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay, when the clerk calls a roll, please.
Porter,
aye.
Prather,
Aye.
Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Brereton,
Aye.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
Mahal,
Aye.
9 in favor.
Okay, motion passed, thank you. I got it. Okay, and then under 11, under other, we have an executive session. I would ask to go into an executive session to discuss appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee or official pursuant to 2C1 and the collective bargaining matters pursuant to Section 2C2 of the Open Meetings Act. Could I get a motion to that effect? Motion by Alderman Snow, second by Alderman Prather. Any discussion regarding that? Hearing none, all those will, when their name is called, answer yes. Those who approve, any opposed, will answer nay when the clerk calls a roll.
Prather,
Aye.
Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Brereton,
Aye.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
Mahal,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
9 in favor.
Okay, motion passed. We'll go into executive session here. The chief, if Chief Woody would stay for the first part of this, please.
Give me a moment.
And